Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Andy the Mad Tatter back with another YouTube haul video. First and foremost, massive thanks to everyone for your continued support. I've actually hit 40 subscribers on YouTube now, which is so far in excess of my aspirations or thoughts of what I was going to do on YouTube. It's absolutely fantastic. Your continued support, your likes, your subscribers, your comments on videos and stuff. It's really, really awesome, guys. I can't thank you all enough. And you know, if you guys want to keep seeing content, I'll keep making it. So yeah, great. Really happy with that, and I hope you're all enjoying this lovely Easter weekend weather that we're having here in the UK at the moment. So today's haul video, it's a little bit of an interesting one. This, in a way, I was actually challenged by my wife to go to more than one car boot and spend no more than £40 today. I think it was a challenge. It might have been a limit, sort of masquerading as a challenge. I'm not sure. But either way, 40 quid was my limit. But I had to go to more than one car boot. So I went to two of the big local car boots. I went to the Holly Lane car boot, which was a complete washout and a waste of my time, although I did get a couple of items there, which I'll go into in a moment. And I also went into car boot Chris and Bargain Belle's backyard and went to the Burnage car boot, which was frankly excellent. I went there late and I absolutely smashed it, certainly versus what I did at Holly Lane anyway. So another recommendation. I know Chris and Belle do recommend Burnage car boot, but another recommendation from me. It was a lovely day out on the field for it as well, so spot on. So I'll get into this haul really quickly, just talk you through some of the items that I'll probably talk you through all of the items that I've picked up, you know what I'm like, but I'll try not to dwell too much, because as you can see, there's a lot of remotes and stuff here to be going at. So, we'll start with remotes then, because that's kind of one of those things that was my bolo in one of the previous videos. All the remotes that you see on the table here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 remotes all told. I bought them off a guy who was a dealer, obviously, and was just had a big old bucket full of remotes there. In fact, he had two of the big sort of 80-litre really useful boxes full of remotes. I had a good route through. He wanted 2 quid each for him. I've paid 25 quid for the lot here, essentially, so I got a bit of a deal off him. But what I will say, in respect to these remotes, I think it's this one and this one. This one here is a Samsung audio system remote. See if we can get that to focus. There you go. There's the code on it there, AH5902692P. And this is a soundbar remote for a Samsung soundbar. It's a little bit chewed up in the back of the battery hatch there, but I can clean that up, not a problem at all, and tidy that up with a little needle file. That one and this one here, which is a wireless camcorder remote for an old Canon video camcorder. Those two are my money back. So every other remote that you see here, beyond those two, that's all just going to be clear profit if you look at it that way. These two have paid for me my whole batch of remotes, and then the rest here are bonus. So I'll go through a couple of them really quickly. Let's just do them all in a big group. So we've got Sony, and Sony. These three, this is, let's get these focused just so you can get numbers. RM932, RMC811 and RM841. Those are all TV remotes, Sony TV remotes. I think one of them's for a combi system as well, so that's like a TV, DVD, VCR sort of combi system. Those are all the Sony TV remotes. I've then got a couple of, is it those two? Oh no, beg your pardon. I've got one Sony audio system remote. Surprisingly high value on that one, guys. It's, yeah, Sony audio remotes always seem to go for really good money, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. That one then is a Sony, I want to say it's a camcorder remote, looking at it, because it's got a wide angle and a telephoto, rocker switch on it there, so that's presumably for the zoom on a camcorder. RMT814, I'll obviously research this and everything properly before it goes online to know exactly what it's for, so that's another one. Of course, as you know from my previous videos, I'll buy anything pretty much Sony if there's decent money to be made on it. Next Sony remote is this one, which I actually got as a little sort of cheeky bonus in some respects, because I don't think the chap noticed what it is. And you can see there it says BD PlayStation on the bottom, and it is a Sony PlayStation media remote. So that was a nice little bonus in there, and paid, you know, just paid the same sort of rate as on the rest of the remotes, and normally stuff like this commands a little bit of a premium. So that's the Sony little selection. Further to the usual things that I tell you to look out for in remotes, audio remotes do a lot better than TV remotes, generally speaking. The exception comes with things like set-top box remotes or digital TV remotes, things like that. They tend to do a bit better in the TV avenue. Or obviously things like these smart TV remotes where they're Wi-Fi or Bluetooth connectivity rather than infrared. They tend to be the best ones to go for in TV. Personally, I'll always buy TV ones, even if they're just cheap enough and, you know, I can see a bit of money in them, because it just gives you more remotes to list. So if you've got more listings in the same category, you're more likely to get picked up by people. So yeah, audio system remotes generally are the ones to be looking at, hence why this Samsung one, it's from a relatively recent system as well, being a Bluetooth soundbar, hence why this Samsung one is about, from memory, about 20 quid on its own, that one. Couple of other ones to look out for, camcorder remotes. These are always getting lost, and you'll see why in a minute when I show you the last one. It's a Panasonic one there, camcorder remote. A Sharp View camcorder remote, and the teeniest remote I think I've probably ever seen. That's another Sharp camcorder remote, just to give you a bit of perspective on this one. If I get the old Sony PlayStation remote there, it's actually about the same size as the back off the Sony PlayStation remote. So you can see how people lose these really easily, especially if they're in a camera bag or anything like that, or they're out in the, you know, out and about with their camcorder. You can imagine how easily that gets lost. I actually lost it twice between the car and the house, and getting it all out to sort of get it all set up for this video. So they're quite, they are quite difficult to quite difficult to keep hold of. Another one to look out for. Weird and Wonderful remotes. Now, this one is a TV, video, blimey, it looks like it's a bit of everything in all honesty. I've not looked it up yet, but it was weird and wonderful and it was cheap and cheerful. And both of those sets of adjectives apply to me. So, I picked it up, Mitsubishi brand. It's got the big volume control, or channel knob, or whatever it is on there, fast forward and rewind knob. I'll get all this tested, not a problem at all, and it's just another interesting one to look out for. You know, these are the sort of remotes you find on the big TVs in bars and pubs and things like that, and they still use a lot of these big TVs in sort of public broadcasting spaces and stuff as well. So generally speaking, you know, that you can't really go far wrong with them. And then that's another Mitsubishi audio CD player remote there as well. Not really sold Mitsubishi before, but they were cheap enough, and they, again, like I say, audio remotes, so should do okay. I don't think there's any comps on this one either, so I can pretty much name my price and see where it goes from there. I think I'm going to get lung cancer off this particular one though, because it absolutely stinks of fags, which is cigarettes for any American viewers. It's not some homophobic slur. Right, couple more remotes, and then we're getting towards the end of the remotes. NTL/Virgin Media Box remotes. As you remember from our first video, the BT Vision remotes did quite well. So, you know, these are actually the same, exactly the same remote, just one's branded NTL, one's branded Virgin from when they changed over. If you take the backs off them, they're both the same code, so they'll both work for the same series of set-top boxes, not a problem at all. Last remote was a little bit of a gamble. This was one that I just picked up because it was weird and wonderful. It's got a lovely little winnet in it there as well. I'll have to get picked out with the old dental pick. Polaroid. I didn't really know what it was for. I knew it was obviously because it's got FM stereo on it there, a play button, so I knew it was an audio remote for something. It was only when I got it home and started really looking at it that I flipped it over and realised it says on the back somewhere, there you go, made exclusively for Asda stores. So that's kind of the equivalent of a Walmart owned brand for American viewers or international viewers. It's kind of a supermarket owned brand thing. However, The actual system that this belongs to is still selling for relatively decent money on eBay. I think these systems are selling for around about 30 quid. So I could reasonably expect to not lose on that remote. Although, to be fair, as I say, I've not really lost on these remotes anyway, based on the price of those first couple there that I showed you. So that's all of the remotes. I'll just get those out of the way because I've just realised they're creeping into shot at the bottom there. And we're trying to get better at this and a bit more professional. There goes that tiny remote again. Let's just make sure I've not lost that blooming thing under the settee. There we go. Splendid. Right. Next, again, on my usual Sony crusade, we've got a little Sony portable radio. They do surprisingly well. As I've said in, I think in my last sales roundup video, I showed you a Sony radio that I'd sold in there. It sold really quickly. They have great sound quality. This one's a nice little pocket size one as well, with a little sort of carry loop or stand or whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to use that for, I guess. Battery powered. So dead easy to test. Couple of double A's in there and away we go. So that was a nice little pickup as well. These generally go for anything upwards of about £15 to £20, the little Sony portable pocket radios like this. So they're always a good one to sort of pick up if you can get them for a quid or a couple of quid. Next. Again, Sony-wise. There you go. Throwing it everywhere. Professional. Next up, Sony-wise, we've got this digital video set-top box. I actually bought one of these just purely, again, because it was Sony and it was cheap. There's the code. Let's get it the right way up. VTX D800U. It is an older unit because obviously it's just SCART on there. There's no HDMI socket. But that doesn't mean it won't sell. They have been selling recently. I know I've seen a couple of other resellers that have sold them as well. So I'll make money on that, not a problem at all. And even if I don't make money on the box for whatever reason, this remote that came with it, which is the remote for it, that sells for a tenner on its own. So I will always get my money back and make a little bit on top, even if I just chuck that in a charity shop and sell the remote. Next, this is a Panasonic telephone answering machine, cordless, with the extension line, which I've just thrown on the floor. Always check these out. I've been bitten by one in the past. They take AAA rechargeable batteries. If they've not got the AAA rechargeables in them, AAA rechargeables are actually, in my experience, surprisingly expensive. So they can be sort of prohibitive cost-wise when it comes to, if you've not paid a lot of money for one of these phones, it's not too bad. But if you've paid up a little bit on one, for instance, and it's not got the batteries in there, that's potentially going to wipe out a good chunk of your profit. So always make sure that if you're buying cordless phones, they've got the rechargeable batteries in them. So this one, it's quite a lot of comps on this one, mostly in black though, so the fact that this one's in the silver with the white extension line, it's quite nice. And then you've got the answering machine function on there as well. So to test this, it's just simply a case of plug it in, let the phone charge up a bit, plug it into your own phone line and ring it off your mobile and then ring out on it. Leave a message for yourself, just check that all the functions work, and then happy days. They're dead easy to test. Everybody knows how a phone works, so we can test them quite happily. So that's the phone. Next item. This was one that was bought on a whim, as much as anything. It's a Bosch battery charger. I was partially inspired by John, Resale Rabbit. Shout out to John. He sort of does quite well with chargers and little batteries and things like that. So I saw this one. It wasn't a lot of money, so I went for it. It did have the battery in it as well. But there's a big crack in the casing of the battery, so that's been thrown out. I'll give the charger a good charge up, good clean up, make sure that it works and everything. And there's not going to be huge amounts of profit in it. It would have obviously been better had it had that battery, but it's still something that I'll get my money back and a little bit on top for. So quite happy there. Last two items. It wouldn't be one of my haul videos without an electric typewriter. This one, the Sharp PA3000. This is a daisy wheel typewriter, so it's a nice sharp printing, no pun intended. yeah, they generally print in a really sharp kind of font, nice and easy to read. Everything that comes out of them looks really professional, and quality jobs from them. I think it does need a ribbon, this one, but that's only £4.25 from an eBay store called Globe Typewriters. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but I definitely do recommend them for any ribbons or ink systems or anything like that you do need for any electric or manual typewriters. They are really good. They have everything in stock and the delivery is pretty quick. So yeah, it's not a massive world beater or anything, this one, but again, for what I paid for it, even having to throw a ribbon in it, it's still going to make me a reasonable profit. Last item was an item that I picked up on a whim again. This was something that I just picked up off the guy's stall. I kind of looked at it and it made me smile because it was old and retro and properly vintage. I wasn't going to buy it. And then the guy said, oh, it's £1 if you want it, and it does work. So I picked it up. Not tested it yet to make sure that it definitely does work. But if it does, I haven't actually seen any of these for sale on eBay or sold. So it's an Amstrad model 6040 stereo radio alarm clock. Properly retro. So it's going to have a good old-fashioned red red LED display on there, and you know, it's going to have that proper 80s 90s vibe about it. Yeah, the guy wanted £1 for it, so I'm always going to have a little tickle at something like that for £1. So there we go, that is the haul. Now, as I said to you at the beginning, I was challenged by the wife, and she told me to spend no more than £40 at least one car boot sale. So I went to 2, and I spent that, basically. So what did we actually achieve today? So my total spend was £38.70. Bit of a random number, I know. I expect to list these items, all of the items that you've just seen, for a grand total of £320.78. Obviously that's the listing price, so I'm not going to get that after shipping and fees, etc. But that's what I'm going to be listing them up for, and that is I don't want to say profit, because again there's shipping and fees coming off that, but the difference basically between this number and this number is £282.08. So there's a good little return there, even only spending a relatively small amount. And this is what I was trying to touch on previously in some of my other videos as well. It's not about how much money you've got, it's about how effectively you can make it work for you. So bear that in mind, guys. You know, you don't have to be somebody with loads of money behind you to get started in reselling. You can start with the smallest amount of money imaginable. I mean, like I showed you in my sales roundup video there, I've paid 30p for remotes and sold them for £15 before now. Take your £15 then and roll it onto something else. It's very easy to get into reselling, very difficult to master, I'm not going to lie, and I don't consider myself a master. I don't consider anything that I do to sort of be mastery level in any way, but you can definitely get into it as a lot more easily than you would think. So by the standard of my videos, guys, that's a relatively short one for you today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please leave me a like. Do feel free to leave comments on the videos too, whether they're positive or negative. Do feel free to give me a dislike if you don't like the video, and please let me know what you didn't like about it. I want to get better at doing this. If early indications are anything to go off, people seem to want to hear and see my videos. So I'm quite happy to carry on making this content and improving my content. But I can only do that with you guys' input, because otherwise I'll just sit here and prattle on like I do with a camera pointed at a bunch of items in my hands. Yeah, so do by all means subscribe, comment, like, dislike. People say smash the subscribe button and smash the bell for alerts when I upload. I don't like smash it. I'm a bit more mellow than that. So, you know, do feel free if you want to sort of subscribe by all means. And if you want to give the bell icon there just a little tickle, that will alert you to whenever I upload any other videos. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much once again for watching. I do sincerely mean that. I hope you all have a cracking Easter weekend and continue to enjoy this lovely weather we're having. Have a great day and see you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.